Good morning, precious. How you doing, baby? Happy Tuesday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. When you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Shakenya, and hit subscribe, guys. Look at some of the videos, and if you see any video that you like, that hit home with you, it resonated with you, it made sense, you wanted to tell somebody yourself and just didn't have the courage to do it, share it on my page. I'll do it for you. So today, guys, you know, this your senior year. Your test coming up. I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but your test coming up, and we're talking about a variety of things, meaning we're covering things from your 9th grade year all the way up until now, because we've been doing this for 4 years now, for those of you who didn't know. So go to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to see all the videos that date back about 4 years that we've been doing this. So we got your boards out. Your boards are the things that you created your 9th grade year, and we put suspects on the board because we wanted to figure out who was planting seeds in your child, who was turning your baby against you, who was influencing your baby to do bad, and who was influencing your baby to go against you. So we're trying to figure out who it was. So we eliminated your side of the family because your family ain't gonna do that to you. And so now the focus is on your baby mama or your baby daddy. So we got their pictures on the board. We got people guilty by association, people in their camp that probably know you, that probably could have defended you and didn't. They guilty by association because they didn't stand up and they didn't do anything. So everybody is held accountable at some point. So until we narrow down exactly what's going on, we got questions: who, what, when, why. This is an actual case, because if you have a parent that has removed a child from another parent, meaning physically taking them away or mentally taking them away, because you can mentally take a child away to where every time that child is around that parent, they disobedient, they act like they don't like them, they don't never want to be here, make the parent feel so bad. So it's different ways you can go about it when you're using these manipulation tips, you know. So in this case, we're talking about all different elements, all dynamics, all the reasons why they can do it. So you're trying to get your questions answered. So you got your boards out. We're trying to see who planting these seeds, who using all these manipulation tips. We're looking at the adverse effect that these manipulation tips have since your 9th grade year to now. I know, because if you got a parent, every time you sharing a child with a parent, and every time you drop this child off every weekend or all through the week, they using all those. We talked about 30 manipulation tips that can possibly be used on your child against you. If that ain't abuse, I don't know what is, you know. So that's why it falls under the category of abuse, and that's why I got it set up like a crime scene, just in case you didn't know, right? So yeah, we're talking about the adverse effect, and so we're talking about the psychological damage. So today, this message is going to be a little confusing. I'm letting you know ahead of time. So if you can't keep up, if you're like, oh my gosh, Shakenya, what you do? Just know that it's a method to my madness, and know that it's purposely done. Okay? So I'm going to try to put you in the same headspace of a child that's probably being torn between two parents and probably going through this. And this is why I stress upon y'all the importance of mental health treatment. For anybody who's going through grief, you've lost somebody, child lost a parent, with that parent being absent in that child's life, it's a great loss. You might not think it is. You taking that child out that parent's life, in your mind, you done with them. You ain't got to deal with them no more. You ain't got to drop the baby off. That's you. But you not even taking in consideration that this child's parent. This is their mama or their father. You don't take that in consideration when you be talking mess about them in front of the child, making them feel, you don't think about that. But this is this child's mother or father, right? Think about if somebody was doing you like that. Think about if somebody was trying to take your mama or your daddy out. How would you feel? How would you react? So I'm going to put you in the child, in the headspace of the child. Yep, I ain't going to dip off into the other children that the child has been separated from. We're just going to try to focus on the child. Yep. So we're going to talk about the psychological damage. So yesterday we talked about, did you raise your babies, or did your babies just grow up? So did you take the time and effort that it takes to instill morals and values? Did you instill discipline? Did you have a routine for this child? Did you do all the necessary things that it takes and that you're supposed to do to prepare this child for life and adulthood, right? So if you did all of these things, you took the time to do all of it, it's a certain outcome you should be looking for in your adult children, right? Yep, don't feel bad for looking for it. Yep, don't feel bad for always throwing it up if they don't if they don't meet those expectations. Don't feel bad, because if you have done X, Y, and Z and instill certain things and you don't see it, shit, you could be mad, you could be upset, and like I said, you could throw it up. Yep, because it's a certain outcome you're supposed to get. And I know everything ain't guaranteed, but things happen, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, if you got a system in place and it's working, something got to happen to break it. Because you should get the desired outcome that you seek when you do certain things, right? So we talked about that yesterday, the outcome after you put so much time and effort. And then I used the example of the importance of communication. Yep. Because if you do everything that I did to preserve communication and have a good relationship with your children, nothing should be able to break that. And if it is a break, it shouldn't be hard to go back in the system and fix it, right? Because when it comes to communication, you got to keep in mind, this is something that I did with all my children. And when I say all my children, I have 5. I had 3 biological children, and I raised my 2 younger brothers when my mom passed away. So when I got my 2 younger brothers, they were like 5 and I'm about to turn 7, right? So now they're in their 30s, right? So the child that I refer to in Coffee and Conversation is the youngest of 5. So if my mission was to have good communication and a good relationship with my children, and one of the main reasons that I have this mission is because I had a good relationship with my mom. And if I use this system with all the children and it worked, that was my outcome. So if this is the case and this works and you trust the process like I do, and I've done, that's the only outcome. So that means it wouldn't be no Coffee and Conversation. It wouldn't be no situation where, hey, fat boy. It wouldn't be no situation where I wouldn't have a relationship with none of my children. Hey, Louise. Hey, Brandon. Good morning. Yeah, it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be Coffee and Conversation. It wouldn't me be coming on here telling you about manipulation tips, telling you what not to do, telling you how to have a better relationship with your baby mama, baby daddy. I wouldn't care. Only way I would care is when you pay that $75 and you bring your child into attitude adjustment and I'm servicing you as a family. That's the only time I would care. I wouldn't be on a mission like I am for the last 4 years to come on here every day and talk about it, right? Why? Because I'm going through it. But if I've done all of these things, and let's talk about all of these things that I've done to ensure communication and a good relationship. You got to think about it. For the boys, I created a safe space. Meaning we had family meetings where they were able to talk and speak freely on top of us having daily conversations. I was always interested in what they had going on. What y'all got going on? What y'all doing? What's up? Where you at? What? I'm in your business, right? And they didn't have a problem telling me where they was at and what they doing. Even to this day, my boys are in the 30s and we still talk about mind, body, and soul. Yep. That's how deep the connection is. Why? Because it was something that I instilled in all of them when they were young. Even the boys. Even my little brothers. Even though I got them at 5 and 7. That was young enough for me to instill the importance of communication and us having that good relationship that we have, right? So, therefore, my outcome should be I should have a good relationship with all my kids. Especially my girls. And I have 2 of them. So that should be my outcome. So if anything else happens, anything after that is damage. Anything after that contributes to psychological damage. Because if you've done X, Y, and Z and your outcome is what it was, meaning I had a good relationship with all my children. Not only did I have a good relationship, I had individual relationships with them. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. So damage comes in at when you have that outcome and then all of a sudden you don't have it. So that means the relationship was broken. Something happened. Something happened to cause that. What's the reason? What's the reason? Because here it is. You have a system that works. It's a proven system from the time when I was a child all the way up until my kids, raising my kids, all the way to them having relationships with their own children. Fix it, Jesus. The system works. The system works. So you have to have a reason for why the system not working. What happened? So we go back and we try to figure out what's going on. Somebody trying to come in, invitation to go live together. Yeah, who is this, King? Hope you ain't talking crazy, King, because I ain't never did this on TikTok.
For joining. Thank you for joining.
Oh, see, he talking crazy. I don't know how to remove King from here, y'all. I can't stand our people sometimes, y'all. Wait a minute. King, hang up. God damn it.
Hello.
Hang up. I know people laughing at me. How do y'all get this person off my life? I'm about to end TikTok, y'all, because I don't want him to do nothing disgusting. Yeah, you got to be more careful. So somebody got on there and was acting nasty. You know, I ain't used to TikTok, so right, maybe I'll go back live after because, yeah, I don't want him to, and I'm not going to accept nobody else's live. This nigga, he was in the bed, so yeah, I don't want no, yeah, Lord, fix it, Jesus. So I hope it ended. I hope he wasn't able to still continue. And TikTok, for my new people that's following me, I'm sorry, I apologize. Yep, so we're gonna continue. So the damage comes with all of this because the system works. So for the system not to work, something broke. So if you don't immediately fix it, now you got problems. Now you got trauma. Now you got damage. Now you got, yeah, because problems should be fixed right away. I don't understand people that will let problems fester. If you got a problem with somebody, if you got a problem in your life, like me, myself, I try to fix it immediately. Whatever it is. And I'm not going to say maybe the next day or that, but within a week or so, I mean, I try not to let stuff go too far. Is what I'm trying to get at, right? So I can't see a person having a problem with a parent or a parent having a problem with a child and they're not trying to immediately fix it. Meaning that if the other parent know that there's a problem, the first thing you do is try. I tell you when we first did Coffee and Conversation, your main purpose is one of your main things is making sure that child loves and respects the other parent. Because if you do everything you can to make sure that child loves and respects the other parent, yours is going to come automatically. They're going to automatically do the same for you, right? So it shouldn't be that hard, people. It shouldn't be that hard working together to raise these kids after y'all break up, right? So system broke. You got to fix it. Something had to happen. You got to figure out what it is. You got to narrow it down to what? So, okay, the system is broken. My system right now is the communication part. Okay, it's affecting one child, but the other 4 is doing okay. Okay, so it's only affecting one child. So that means the system works. But that means it's an isolated incident. So now we got to figure out, okay, what's different with this child that the communication is not working, but it's working with all 4 of the other children. Oh, we got to figure out what's the entities that's involved in that's not involved. Oh, the other parent. Fix it. Narrowed it down. So if you got your board up and you trying to figure out this crime of who planting seeds, you down right there, you got a suspect. And then you just follow the chain of that. That's how you do this. It's a case. You gotta keep in mind that, yeah, that bachelor's in criminal justice, I know. I wanted to be a lawyer. I still do. So now, we looking at that. The program. Attitude adjustment. When I have the initial conversation, it's a long one, I told y'all, and it's confusing. When I have the initial conversation with the parents to find out if this program is a good fit for their family, I do a timeline. I try to get the parents to narrow down when they start noticing the behavior issues with the child. When did you start noticing some things was going wrong? Blah, 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 blah. When was they giving you a hard time? When did they start calling you up to the school, getting kicked out? Whatever the case may be, you will notice. If you raising your child a certain way and all of a sudden your child start acting out and you got to talk to them too many times, you got to reprogram them every time they come from their baby mama or their baby daddy house, you got to tell them this and that. Nuh-uh. Something ain't right. Something going on. That's your timeline. So now I get the parents, once they figure that out, what was going on around that time? What was happening around that? Hey, Reese. Hey, Loman, how you doing, my brother? Yeah, what was going on around that time when you noticed the behavior issues, right? And to be honest with you, it can be something as simple as, well, I ain't going to say simple, but it can be a divorce. It can be a death. It can be separation. It can be a move. It can be changing schools. you'll be surprised what triggers a child, right? So when we try to narrow down the timeline of what's going on and when it could have possibly happened, that's what I use as talking points in our family meeting. So if it is a death, I talk to the children about ways they can deal with grief. If it is getting adjusted to a new school, we talk about ways of how to do that, to regain your reputation or whatever it is you had going on at the other school that you feel like you're going to miss. So I use them as talking points, and I also use them as a way to give resources to help the family about whatever it is that the child might be dealing with that might have triggered these behaviors, right? So we try to get to the root of the problem, right? So usually it's a reason why something happened. For you to have a good child go bad, something happened, right? So in this case, we had a child, had a good relationship, and then all of a sudden something happened, especially a parent. Like, so what happened with the parent? Especially if they had a good relationship. So if the parent didn't do nothing different, the parent that the child was taken away from, what's different? What's the reason? What reason? See, all this is adding on to the psychological damage. That's why you got to go talk to somebody. Just as confused as you are right now, think about a child. Oh, and we ain't finished yet. Because you got to make it make sense. You got to make the reason that you have, because if there's no abuse and no neglect, those are the only two reasons why you would take a child away from a parent. So if there's no abuse and neglect, and you still remove a child from a parent that wants to be in a child's life, you got to have reasons for that. You got to have a reason for doing that. Right? And you got to make it make sense. Not only do you got to make it make sense to the child, but you got to make it make sense to other people. I'm trying, baby. I'm trying to do the best I can. Thank you for chiming in. That's my homeboy from back, and I don't want to call you your nickname, so we'll just say Mr. Loman. And I'm proud of you, my brother. Oh, my goodness. I know you probably don't notice. I probably ain't shouted it out, but I'm shouting it out for the world to know. I'm so proud of you, brother. You and your beautiful family. I watch you. I come to your page. You got your own business. You got things going on, man. You just grew up to be a good young man, baby. And coming from where we come from, that's a big deal, brother. And I see you. You and your beautiful family. Yes. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. I'm praying for you. So now we're looking at, you got to make it make sense. You cross the two reasons off the list. What do you have? You have nothing. So now this parent has to create the reason why this child is not in your life. They got to create the reason why they severed the relationship. They have to use all those 35 manipulation tips that we talked about. So imagine every weekend when you drop your child off over there, they're using all 35 tips. Your child can't even play with the rest of the kids because they either getting grilled by the other parent. They in there getting manipulated because the parent is doing all these things. They having inappropriate conversations. They isolating the parent. They don't even talk. They doing all these tips that we talked about. They lying to the baby. They misusing the baby. Simply abusing that baby. Every time you drop that child off, right? So this is what's going on in this child's head. So if you have a parent that did all these things to ensure they have a good relationship with their baby, good communication with that baby. Fix it, Jesus. This adds on to your psychological damage as the parent. Because you did all of this, you trusted in the process, you had a system that was put in place and it worked, and then it failed. By the hands of someone else. So that means somebody infiltrated yo. So it all falls back on you because you ain't do something right. Because nobody should have been able to infiltrate that. If you did everything that I just told you I did for communication, nobody should have been able to come in between that. So in order for somebody to come in between that, that means just as hard as you work to put that system in place, they's working just as hard to tear it down. So that means in order for them to do that, they got to go against their own morals and values. Oh my God. They got to do all the techniques. Oh my God. They're doing the complete opposite of what you're doing. Oh my goodness. Fix it, Jesus. And then you got to go back and look at what was wrong with the system that the parent had in place. Right. What was wrong with it? What was wrong with it? So now you have a child who felt comfortable because the system works and was put in place. You had a child that felt comfortable talking to this one parent that you telling them they can't talk to no more. So now whatever issues, whatever things that the child would usually talk to this other parent about, now they got to suppress it. So now they got to suppress all these feelings and everything they have because they can't talk to the person that they should be talking to, but they can't talk to because you told them that they can't. And you had no reason to tell them that. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Are you just as confused as I am? Yep. So now you're dealing with a child that's probably guarded. Now you're dealing with a child that's probably withdrawn now. Now you're dealing with a child that probably has trust issues and probably don't have nobody to talk to because the main person that they felt comfortable talking to, you took away from. Fix it, Jesus. So now you're dealing with a child that actually was on both sides of the gate. Because you got a child that was in a system that was working. And you got a child that's on the other side of dealing with a person telling them that this system doesn't work. Scrap all that. It don't work. Don't talk to nobody. Don't tell them nothing. But can you see now? Can you see all the confusion? Because why would anybody try to make that seem wrong? How can you make that system seem wrong? The art of communication with a child and a parent. The trust that's established. The relationship that's built upon with a child talking to their parent about the issues that they have. What do you have to do to make that seem wrong? And who would do such a thing? But now can you see how some people don't know right from wrong? Can you see how some people will lack common sense? Now you see why at the end of the day your child had to make a choice. That's why you don't have a relationship with your baby. Because your teachers are totally opposite. This parent has went so far to the left and went so against what you're trying to teach them to where that child can't live in both worlds. And at the end of the day, y'all mission is still the same. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? At the end of the day, y'all mission is still the same. Why? Because it was the same when y'all was together. So you got a child that lived in a situation when y'all was together, in some cases. Everything was one way. Then all of a sudden y'all break up. Now everything is so different. But at the end of the day, it's the same. So now that's why we labeled this confusion. Now you get a taste of what psychological damage can possibly do and cause, the harm it can possibly cause when you have a child that's being torn between two parents, right? It's so easy for y'all to work together. So yeah, that's why it's important for that child to have mental health treatment. Hopefully as an adult, when they realize what really is going on and what really has happened to them, then maybe, yeah, I ain't accepting this. Let me decline. They came on my first TikTok and some half-naked man was on there. Probably shot my views up. I don't know. But y'all, that's it for Coffee and Conversation with your girl Shakenya. It was a long one. It was confusion. And it was all talking about psychological damage. So y'all, I'm out. All right, Facebook. I'm out.